On the 4th of October, this upcoming October, it would be 5 years since I moved to Germany. I cannot wrap my head around that. Time truly flies. When I first moved here, I was a student, I was confused, and there was a lot of things and a lot of stuff in my mind that I wish I knew before, because those would have pretty much saved me a lot of trouble and hurdles. So if you are a student or an upcoming student coming to Germany, you know, let's just say you got accepted into your dream university / you are applying to your dream universities, you are set to arrive here anytime, I'm pretty sure these would be things you wish you knew down the line. So in this video, I am kind of making life a little bit easier for you and sharing with you those inside experiences that I've gathered from being here for quite a while. So let's just say you just got into your dream university, you are ready to come here. These are 10 things you need to keep in mind. Before we go on, you can pause the video here, go down into the comment section and let me know where in Germany are you moving to, which university you've gotten into, or where would you want to go, city and university. And let's see if anybody is thinking about moving to Munich. So the first point is, please come prepared with some German. I know that this sounds so trivial and so obvious, but looking at me, I came here with no basics for German. It was insane because I knew a lot of people, friends that studied abroad here or were living here, and they just told me, oh, don't worry, everybody speaks English here, you don't need it. That's true, most people speak pretty good English. However, you still would need some basics. I know if you are joining some other types of program like Ausbildungs or Bachelor, you have to have a B2, B2 level anyway, but if you're not, and if you're like me joining an English program, you won't need it. I think now you need to show some A1. I think that's a really good initiative, but before there, we didn't have to, so I came here not even understanding what Dankeschön is or Wie bitte. I had no idea, so please, what I would say is, enroll yourself in some A1.1, go into YouTube, there's a lot online, and just do yourself a favor and get to at least an A.1.2. That would save you so much. Do it for yourself. The second part is accommodation. It is extremely tricky to get accommodation in big cities. So if you're thinking München, hell, Berlin, Hamburg, Frankfurt, Düsseldorf, Köln even, those places can be extremely hard in terms of finding accommodation. So I would say start as soon as you get your acceptance, as things are rolling towards a good, you know, they're looking good, the wheels are turning, start looking. Your best friend would be joining Facebook groups, local Facebook groups of those places. People post their offers of their accommodation, their sublets all the time. WG gesucht is a very, very good option. So it's a website, I will leave you the link down there. It's the way I found most of my places I've been living here. Do not underestimate the network of your university. Use that, leverage that. It's going to be extremely helpful for you. What else? Yes, subletting is key. The beginning, it would be very hard to get a contract, so subletting would be your best friend. And also make sure you're here first and then start looking. So get just something temporary and then start looking in person. And beware all the scammers, there's so many. Never send money to anybody on those platforms or online or on Facebook. Never engage too much with somebody or send your money if you have not seen the place. So make sure you take care of those little things and you are careful. Point number 3, the moment you land here, make sure you go straight to your university, you get your student ID and go immediately to your local transportation provider and get your student ticket. So I know that this will be different from one place to another, one state to another, but for example here in Munich, transportation is very expensive, and your student ticket, you pay for it around 220 by now, and it lasts you for 6 months, and it gives you access to the whole, in our case, MVV network, so you can really go anywhere. Any other option would cost you a lot. When I first came here, I was living really far from the city center of Munich, and I used to pay every time quite some money just to go into the city center and go back, because I just delayed submitting some documents to complete my application. I think it was my diploma or my certificate, my diploma certificate, and that created some issue in terms of getting my student ID and my semester ticket. So make sure you settle those things as early as possible, so that the moment you land here and you set foot into Germany, you can go straight and get your semester ticket. I hope this concept is everywhere in Germany. I would say it is, but yeah, keep in mind, I'm in Munich, I'm in Bayern, so I'm speaking from my own perspective and my own experience. Point number 4, you will need to register your address. Every single resident here has to register your address. If you are planning to stay there for more than 3 months, you have to get in touch with your Bürgerbureau or KVR, and you have to fill a form and get your landlord or whoever is renting that place for you to sign it, and then you get an appointment online. I think nowadays you can even do it online or just send it via post, and you get a registration, which is so important because it will be important for you for the next step, which is also point number 5. It's to get an appointment for your residence permit ASAP. In big cities like Munich and Berlin, this can take months. So when you first come here, either on your student visa or your tourist visa in some cases from certain countries, you have a certain amount of time, I think it's 3 months, before you have to have an actual residence permit. And if you don't, that would be trouble. The thing with that is that appointments are insane. Not a lot of people work in those foreign offices, or they're called the Ausländerbehörde or KVR, or depending on where you are. And these results in a ridiculously long waiting times, especially if you are a bachelor, Ausbildung or master's student. I think if you are a PhD, there is a specific team and a specific unit, so it goes much faster. But any other thing, also for work, also for blue card holders and all of that, it takes so long. So make sure you book that appointment online as soon as possible. You can also try to email them and call them. In Munich, my experience, they were responsive, but just make sure that is ticked ASAP. Number 6 is banking and getting a bank. So if you're a student, you would probably have had to block an amount of money and now you need to access it, or you need to have a bank. My advice would be go for online banks. There are a lot of those banks currently. When I first came here, I used Sparkasse, so it's a local bank. I'm happy with it. I still have an account with them. They're good, but I'm struggling a bit with their services because most of them are in German, or they were in German. Now it's fine, I can manage, but before it was really hard to set up an account and so tricky because most communication in the post is going to be in German, and that would be super tricky for me. So I would recommend one of those new online banks. One example that comes into my mind is N26. They have great customer service. It's all online, so they don't have physical offices. It's really affordable for students, and they have great guidance, and they're there for you. And yeah, I also have experience with them, and they're also great, and I would recommend, but there are a lot, so check those and decide what would best suit your needs. Banks talk takes me to my next point, customer service. Brace yourself, it is not customer service as you might have known it before. I would barely call whatever is going on here customer service. In the beginning it might sound super rude, feel super uncomfortable, but as you stay here longer, you just understand that this is simply the way it is. Do not come in with the idea of the customer is a king. Even if you are paying for a service, people can be rude at worst, and at best be very straightforward. There is no such, cheesiness or niceness or unnecessary kindness. So it's really straight to the point, and if you are angry or mad, or if you really act like a king, customer is a king, it won't take you very far, because then people would just get more stubborn. So just be ready. It's something that you would discover for yourself anyways, but just whenever you want to approach a customer service, make sure you're polite, make sure you're straight to the point, make sure you're not demanding, make sure you're not acting like royalty, because that's not the way it is. So that's something that you should keep in mind. Point number 8, health insurance. Again, brace yourself. So, unlike what you might see or think in countries like France or Spain, where health insurance and health services are extremely cheap for students, it is not the case in Germany. I have not lived everywhere, but at least I know from the case of France, from being in the US, that my health insurance was quite cheap for being a student. Here it's not. I had a public health provider, AOK, and I was paying as a student at that time around 106 euros per month. That might seem okay, but this is really not for students. that are on a very tight budget. So I'm just telling you this so that you know and you factor it in before when you're preparing your monthly budgeting. Make sure you take health insurance into account. Another good provider is TK or TK, also public one. As a master's students, you have to get a public one. Do a lot of research in that sense, because as much as it's a great country to be in, the healthcare system is very tricky. I personally am not a big fan, but that's just myself and my experience compared to other places I've lived. So you have to pay to get proper healthcare. If you need anything extra in terms of, you know, dental care, you have to pay bonuses on top of that health insurance, and 109 is actually very affordable compared to what it will look like later as you move on. It becomes truly ridiculous, but it is the way it is. Do not come in thinking that it's going to be like in other places. Sometimes I just compare with my sister and the type of health care and health service she gets for what she pays. It's hurts my heart but it's just the way it is. At the end of the day, it's just important to know about those and read the fine print, because you might need something specific to your case that won't be provided, and in that case you would have to pay top-ups and extras. So just really read the fine print, and it's going to probably be in German. I know that TK, they have really good English service. Talk to them, they will be willing to give you information. Okay, we move to point number 9, which also has to do with budgeting. When I first moved here, most grocery stores or supermarkets were not brands I'm used to, so I didn't really know where to go, and I ended up doing my full groceries all the time from Rewe, which is not the cheapest option here. It's actually on the higher tiers of grocery supermarkets, and I used to pay things like 60 euros per spray, which is not okay for a tight student budget when I first moved in here. I would say you can do it this way. You can buy the big bulk of your groceries in much affordable stores. Here you have Aldi, Lidl, Penny, Netto, and then if you have any specific diet needs or any specific cravings or things that you really want, you can get those special products or better products. Though, you know, products are also really good in the other supermarkets, but sometimes there are like some bio or vegan stuff that you won't find there. You can get them at Rewe and Edeka. But avoid those for the big chunks of groceries. I had no idea, and for a very long time I used to spend all my money on grocery shopping, and I was like, this is not normal, and it wasn't. The final point, apply for work in student positions. This is one thing I really love about Germany, and I really loved about my time as a student, is that as a student you can work up to 20 hours per week. It's part of your legal status, and you can work in a company and actually gain really valuable experience while being paid decently. Like really, you could make decent amount of money, good money, by working 20 hours, and you can fully support yourself, fully travel. Of course you would still budget, but you can really, it would take you far. You can travel, you can do a lot. So do not depend necessarily on your savings or whatever source of financing you are coming with or taken with you from your home countries, but also look at those options. Not only you make money, you meet great people, you get a glimpse of you get completely immersed in German corporate culture, you can work in international settings, and you get good experience to put into your CV. So go for it, guys, and start applying as soon also as you're settled and you have a bit of mental space for it. All right, those were my 10 points. Let us know if you would add anything to the list, anything that people should be aware of. If you've also done that leap, done that move, if you're also German watching this video, please let us know if there's anything you would think a foreigner should be wary of or should be prepared for. This type of conversations are always good to have, and the internet is a good place to have them. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, to like the video if it was helpful, and to subscribe in order to support my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!